How to get more people to ask to buy from you by selling from inside their head and their heart. Steve Brossman here, and welcome to another Steve Sales Sprint. And in this training video, I'm going to take you through two key concepts: the 3 levels of influence and the 4 understands that you need to get right to be able to have more people to ask to buy from you, shorten the sales cycle, and reduce sales resistance. And now on the screen right now, you can actually see that I've got the 3 levels of influence. Now, the first one is the main one that most people really fall into the trap of. And I've got this, it's imposed influence. Most people will ask some questions, find out what their problem is, and then start imposing their knowledge, do a presentation. And I guess the real concept is that if I give them enough quality information, they will make an informed buying decision. Now, you're imposing that information on them. You're imposing the way that you want them to go. And most people will feel an overload of information. And what normally happens then? I need to think about it. And in a later training video, I'm going to go through the subconscious and conscious reasons why people do want to go away and think about it, because there's so much information thrown at them. It's very logical, it's very linear, and that is the imposed influence model where people do say, I need to think about it. Now, the next level is the collaborative influence, and this is the way that most of our training is focused on: collaborative influence. And the golden rule is when they are involved, they invest. You might want to write that down. When they are involved, they invest. And science has shown that the more they are involved, the more that they are a part of co-creating the solution, the more likely they are to buy. And I'm going to go through that in just a second in the 4 levels of understand. The best one is when you can get to the point of them saying, this is fantastic, how do I get started? And that is the best way that you can do it. But you really don't normally get that when all you're doing is throwing all of this fantastic information at them. Yeah, quite often it is logical. You may go through the features, advantages, and benefits. But if all that you are doing is throwing that at them, that is the imposed level of influence. That's the lowest form of influence in a sales conversation. Move up to the collaborative influence, and that's just not asking a few questions and saying, yes, this is the solution. I'm going to also show you a visual collaboration tool in one of our later sales sprints on how you can virtually eliminate objections and have more asked to buy, and many will go up into the self-influence. They'll cut you short. The fantastic line that you want to hear over and over again: stop, this is fantastic. How do we get to work together? Now, they're the 3 levels of influence. And I guess what you need to think about right now is when you're going through a sales conversation, what level of influence are you using right now? Am I just imposing lots of knowledge? Are we working together to co-create a solution? Or are they getting excited and say, stop, shut up, let me buy from you right now? So that's the 3 levels of influence taken care of. Now, what a lot of people do say, and I hear it over and over again, if they just understand what I did, if they just understand how it worked, they will buy. What you'll see is that's the 4th. It's the last level of understanding that we work on. Now, the first one is that they actually understand their real pains, their real aspirations. And the reason that this is crucial, in a survey taken 3 years ago across 17,000 different organizations and sales conversation, 47.5% of people who enter a sales conversation do not know their real problem. How many times have you had a conversation with somebody, they've come through the door or virtual door and said, hey, listen, I've got a problem with this, can you help me? And when you actually do start working with them, that's not the real problem. The problem may be over here, or the problem may be a lot bigger than what they thought. They walk in the door. Half of them are not articulating the real problem. So if you just go and say, yes, I can fix that, there's a fair chance that at the end of your conversation, they're not going to resonate with you because it's not the real problem. What you need to do is help them understand what their real pain is, and then quantify the real cost of that pain. And when I say quantification, we're talking about financially, emotively, and practically. What is the real cost? And when you sit down with them and work out what that real cost is, the priority to get that fixed does elevate. Now, there's also another one that you need to look at is what is the cost of doing nothing? The ROI versus the COI, the return on investment and the cost of inaction. When you identify the real cost of them right now and the cost of not doing anything, that is the first level of understanding, and you are helping them, guiding them, empathizing with them to understand their real pain and their real aspiration. Now, the next level virtually comes off the back of that, because if you have taken the time to help them understand what the real problem is, to understand what the real cost is to them right now and the cost of inaction, they will then get to this next level. They will understand that you understand them. Now, that's a great place to get to. You want them to virtually say or virtually feel, finally, somebody who listens and somebody who gets me. When you've got these first two, that they understand what the real problem is, they understand that you understand them and that you're on the same page as them, that is the most powerful way that you are virtually already in the collaborative influence. Then the next level is that they understand the true value of your benefits. The true, what we call, if you want to write this down, agreed implementable value. Now, they're not buying the box value, even though you may be wanting, and a lot of people out there sell the box value. How many consultations, how many videos, how many training experiences, what it is that you do. When you are selling the box value, that is not the perceived, agreed, implementable value. When I work with you, here's a phrase that we always use. What do they walk away with? When I work with you, what is the impact, the value of the impact on their life or their business or both that they are going to pay for? So the agreed, we're working, we're collaborating together on the value that you get when you work from me. And that is this level here. These levels, 1, 2, and 3, all focuses down into the collaborative influence. However, when most people start, they will start with trying to help them understand what you do. And that then really focuses down into the imposed influence. Okay, basically, sit down, shut up. Let me tell you what I do. Now, I've had some clients that work in a lot of the tech industries and the SaaS industries, and basically, they're selling their software. That's really not what they are selling. When they turned it around and sold the agreed implementable value, their sales went through the roof. When they started collaborating and not presenting, their sales went through the roof. Much more enjoyable conversations. And when you know how to take them through, and I'm going to share with you in one of the later sales sprints, a different sales sprint on how you can take them to that point where they're going to say, this is fantastic. How do I work with you? So a real quick recap. If you're starting and all you are doing is trying to educate them on what you do and giving them a lot of information, you are in the lowest form of influence, imposed. Step up into the collaboration. How can we work together? When you start on the top two, this one and this one, you are starting to sell from inside the buyer's head and heart. You are an invited expert into their head and their heart, and that is a fantastic place to start the actual sales conversation. So all the best with this. If you like this, click like. If you want some more of these, subscribe. I'm going to be delivering so many more sales sprints so you can take these nuggets, put them into your sales conversations, and have more people asked to buy. Cheers.